Alright, so aiming in Valorant is kind of important. Actually, it's the most important thing in the game, and if you can't aim your gun, it doesn't matter if you do everything else right, you're gonna lose games. And I'm assuming the reason you clicked on this video is probably not because your aim is absolutely horrible, just that it's wildly inconsistent. One game you might be dropping a 20 bomb top fragging, and then the next game you're going 3 for 20 and you're about to uninstall the game. And even if that is you, don't worry about it too much because we are going to fix that in today's video. Now, I do want to quickly clarify that this is not a controller settings video whatsoever. I made one of those a few days ago. If you guys want to check that out, I will link it down in the description. But this is mainly about doing things to help build aiming consistency, and I got y'all with some pretty good tips. Alright, so the very first thing we need to talk about is crosshairs. Alright, I said this wasn't going to be a settings video, and I promise you it's really not, but you know, for aiming, there are a couple of bare bones things that I have to go over. Now, for crosshairs, this one is really simple. Use whatever you want, but make sure it is not too blocky. The problem with having a blocky crosshair is this right here. If I'm aiming over somebody's head, you guys notice how I can barely see this target when I'm far away. Now picture this, right? I'm holding an angle, and then a target swings around the corner, and that's what my reticle's looking like. I'm not even going to be able to see the guy, and he's just going to one-tap me immediately. Whereas, if I have something nice and simple like this dot right here, you guys are going to see that I can easily see my target, and boom, I can just one-tap him right there, just like that. I don't have to worry about my entire screen being blocked. Now, if you're wondering what I would personally recommend, out of the default crosshairs that they give you, Crosshair 4 is good, Crosshair 8 is good, Crosshair 7 is good, and then maybe, you know, Crosshair 5 and Crosshair 6 are decent as well. But otherwise, I'm avoiding Crosshair 1. There's just too much shit on the screen. Crosshair 2 is also just like, it's kind of blocky towards the middle and it doesn't really give you as much of like an opening as Crosshair 7. And then Crosshair 9 is just a bigger version of Crosshair 8, so there's not really a point of using it. Alright, now moving on to tip number 2, it's your sensitivity. Stop changing it. All I gotta say is stop changing your sensitivity. If you're changing your base, your focus, your ADS, and then you're changing your response curve every single day, that is the biggest issue in why your aim is absolutely horrible. What I would instead suggest doing is, let's say I'm running something like 10 sensitivity, I'm running extreme response curve, and then I'm running all this other stuff right here. What I would recommend doing is, if you notice that your sensitivity at times can be a little slow, a little sluggish, I would fine tune it. Just change it a little bit, test it out, see how it feels, and just change it little by little, gradually. Do not massively change your sensitivity. It is going to shit on your aim. Alright, now moving on to tip number 3, here's where we really get started with the in-game aiming tips. So the first one is when to use focus. Now, in my opinion, you should be using focus for about 90% of the kills you're getting in this game, because what focus allows you to do is basically, it's a way of kind of confirming your shot. What I like to do personally, since I run a very high base sensitivity, I'll kind of flick over to the target and then use my focus to, like I said, confirm the shots. And that is basically when you should be using focus and how you should be using it. And just to quickly show what that looks like in game, here's a clip of me doing exactly that. Another really good time to use focus is when you're holding an angle, so you get a little bit more of a precise sensitivity. And let's be real, when somebody swings this angle, are they really going to do some crazy movement where you're going to need a little bit of extra sense? Probably not. So holding angles, use focus most of the time, unless it's like a really short angle. Like if I'm in this little cubby right here and these guys are swinging out, I don't want to be in focus because I'm actually going to need the faster sense right there. But like I said, for the most part, if you're holding an angle, you're going to want to be using focus. This also does apply to swinging angles, because if you absolutely know somebody's right there, it's just going to be a little bit easier to have, you know, your crosshair in the right spot. Alright, so moving on to tip number 4, this is by far the easiest thing to fix on this entire list. If you're doing this, you're going to stop doing this as soon as I say it's bad, because it is really bad. If you're someone who finds yourself swinging angles and then getting one-tapped before you even have time to react, I promise you guys it's probably not your aim. It's the fact that you're swinging angles like this. The problem with this is look how close you are to the wall. You might not know this, but in Valorant, if you're peeking very close to a wall, the other player can actually see, your arm and your leg, like half of your body before you can even see them. Because in a real game, there's probably somebody peeking right here. And look at this right here. I can't see them at all at this point, right? But look how much they can see of me. I mean, I can't really like show you guys that because I don't have another person in the game, but it is night and day. Like if you see somebody peek close to the wall in game, you're going to be like, damn, like I could see their entire body before they can even see me. And really all you have to do to fix that is just back up from the wall and then swing. And then boom, you're literally fine. That is all you have to do to fix that mistake. Just stop swinging very close to walls and you won't get one tapped immediately. And just to be clear, I'm not saying you need to back up 500 feet away from the wall. You just need to be, a far enough distance where you're like, boom, you can get your peek off just like that, and you're not going to get absolutely insta-deleted. Now, moving on to tip number 5, this is one where if you're really struggling to be consistent with your aim, this is going to help you out massively. Tip number 6 is going to do that as well, but really, you just want to use whichever one you're more comfortable with. Now, when it comes to improving your aim in the range, what I want y'all to do is click on ISO. Now, once you select ISO, I want y'all to pop your shield just like this and start shooting bots. The reason y'all want to click ISO is he spawns in these little balls every time you get a kill, and then these also have aim assist and reticle friction, so basically you're just like flicking between bots and then hitting these little ISO balls. They're not ISO balls, but like I don't know what to call them for the video. And really, you're just doing that, rinsing and repeating over and over again. And that is a very good way to, build consistently.
Who?
Okay, so I just can't speak today for whatever reason. But yeah, building consistently. Okay, so for whatever reason, I just cannot say the word consistency. There we go. I really had to try hard. I'm not going to lie. I've never struggled that hard in my life. Anyways, there is one other thing y'all can do in the range. So if you go to settings right here and you choose shooting test and put it on medium and then hit start, it basically spawns in bots where you have a very little time to react to them. And this is going to really help your flicks and your reaction time as well because, you really have to be on your aim to hit these guys. And if that's just too easy for you, you can also try putting this on hard. But mind you, these bots are ridiculous. Like, just look at that right there. Like, I don't even know. I don't even want to begin to try to react to those guys. Obviously, I hit that one right there, but like doing it over and over again, you're probably not getting more than 10 to 15, but it is good for your reaction time. Now, for the final tip of this video, this one is very, very simple, yet very effective. It's just playing TDM. And I know that sounds so boring, and a lot of people don't really want to play TDM. They just want to hop into Swift play, unrated, or comp when it's out, obviously. RIP to console, ranked right now. But, yeah, you guys are going to want to be playing TDM if you just want as much aim practice as possible. Obviously, if it's your game sense that's lacking, yes, play Swift play actual matches. But just from a pure aim perspective, TDM will massively improve your aim because it's actual real situations that you're going to see in game. You could practice swinging angles, your flicks. There's just so many good ways to improve in TDM. Anyways, though, boys, those are pretty much going to be all the tips that I have for today's video. If you guys did end up enjoying it, I would greatly appreciate it if you left a like and a comment letting me know what you thought. And if you are new around here, it never hurts to hit the subscribe button. Anyways, it's been Gravely. Peace.